Hello everyone, quick tutorial on how to set up the M-Wave Chocolate, a really affordable MIDI foot pedal for Ableton Live, making use it for controlling stuff, for example for live looping or for turning stuff on and off. So the M-Wave Chocolate is really affordable but comes with presets which aren't really usable for Ableton Live. Best thing I would advise you here is to set it to MIDI notes, to send MIDI notes. So let's quickly do this. So we got this Cube Suite app here, which is the only way on how you can actually change MIDI messages and edit MIDI messages your M-Wave Chocolate is sending here. So the Cube Suite is available for OS, for iOS, and for Android OS as well. So you need to download this, install this, and then you need to turn on Bluetooth, turn on the M-Wave Chocolate, and then make sure that this will find this. So if I now hit skier and then scan nearby devices, foot control will show up and it will look very similar to this. So we have different modes here. We can pick for the M-Wave what kind of messages it should send out, and you want to go to advanced custom mode. So now we got ABCD, which is ABCD, the different stomps on your M-Wave Chocolate. So now let's set up A. So we select A on the app here, and first of all we have a mode we want to pick. So I would advise you to pick press down and release to bank switch, so the third from the top here. So that means you will send a message when you are pressing the stomp down and a message when you release that, and that can become handy for controlling certain particular things in Ableton Live. Okay, so if we go to back to the A switch, we now have A bank and B bank, and A bank is the message you would send out when you press a stomp, and B would be the message on release. Okay, so maybe let's delete those and set them up from the beginning. So delete everything you got in here because you don't want to send multiple messages. You just want to send one note on and one note off here. So select A bank and hit plus, and now you get a menu here where you can select what kind of message you want to send. So we select this window here, and then we have different settings we can set. We can set a different MIDI channel here if we want to. You can leave this on one for now if it's not conflicting with any other MIDI controller. And you want to select note on under type. And now we got two windows here. Data 1 is for the pitch and data 2 is for the velocity. So if you're not familiar with MIDI note pitches or note pitches in MIDI, it's starting at 0, which is a C minus 2, and then the 1 would be a C sharp minus 2, and so on and so forth. So just follow the numbers I put in here now if you're not familiar with that. So I want to have number 0, which is a C minus 2 as a note pitch, and in data 2 I want to put in 127 because that's the maximum velocity on velocity. So I hit save here now, and this is now being stored for my stomp A and in bank A. So now let's go to B and let's apply a note on here as well. You can pick note off as well. It doesn't make a difference. So we want a note off with the same pitch. So in data 1 we leave the 0, and in data 2 we gonna put in a 0 and we leave the 0 as well because that's the velocity value for a note off value. We hit save. Okay, so now I go back and I just would apply the same for stomp B. So stomp B would be, again, select press down and release as a mode, and for A we would select note on, and we have data 1 would be number 1, which is the next MIDI note pitch, and on data 2 we want as well the 127 as a full velocity on here. So on B We want bank B on the button B. That might be confusing here. So we have note on as well. We have data 1, which is the C sharp -2 pitch, and we have the data 2 would be a 0 because this should be an off velocity. So let's quickly go through the other ones, because then you can make sure that you set up the right values. So I'm now in Stomp C, bank A. I want to put on a note on. Data 1 should be 2 and 127 for the data velocity, and for B it would be 2 for the pitch and 0 for the velocity off. So now we get to the last one. You can just really copy and paste those values in here. You want to set the mode right to press down and release. A bank would be note 3, data 1 3, and data 227 for velocity, and the B switch to have this note off. We have the 3 and we have a 0 in the second one here, and we can just change this to note on as well. This doesn't make a difference, it just displays the name a little bit different in the editor itself. Okay, so you need to make sure that you hit save, because my stuff was in here already, so you can see if you change stuff, hit save, so when it's going back it's saved in here. So now you can leave the editor and just focus on the stomps here, and I set this up to be recognized in Ableton Live here. So I made a cable connection, which I highly advise for using. When you use stuff live, you always want to have cables. You don't want to use Bluetooth for that. Okay, so we have under the link tempo MIDI the in, and it shows up under Synco in my case, which is funny, but whatever, as long as I know and as long as it works. MWave Chocolate displays Synco here, and I want to turn the track in and the remote in, and the out one I don't need that, so make sure this is turned off. Okay, so now I create a MIDI track, and on that MIDI track I have my pop-up MIDI Monitor Max for Live device. Link in the video description if you're excited about that and if you want to monitor your MIDI. So I have Synco selected here, I have the monitor set to in, so MIDI is coming through, and if I now hit a pedal, you can see it's giving me those note values on and off I put in here, which is really great for some more advanced stuff if you want to hold this down. Actually, the note on is the important bit here for most stuff if you want to map MIDI things. So for example, let's sync this on and off switch here. So I go into the MIDI map menu, which you can do by Command M, and then I just hit this button here, and now this is now being mapped to my B stomp here. Okay, so you can set up MIDI mappings like this already. So I have if you want to go into looping, I have a different technique, or one technique which helps a little bit to do stuff, which is setting up MIDI notes to go directly into a device here. So this is a controller, it's a looping controller for tracks, different tracks here. So just to show you, if I hit this record, it will record an audio or a MIDI clip. It's highly customizable. Length are individually, so you could have the completely individual length. You can use additional devices for automatic quantization and for fixed clip length if you want this. And you can see we got two different visual signs here as well, how long the first two clips are. So if I want to control this, I could set this up via the native MIDI mapping. The blue, everything which is blue can be mapped now. Or I can set this up via direct MIDI in, so I could actually send MIDI notes directly to the device and have those being stored here. So for example, if the first action, if I want this to be controlled by button A, I can just turn that on, hit S, and now if I hit my M wave, it's detecting the MIDI note which is coming in, and now this is controlling the record and reloop function here already. And the advantage here would be that I'm able to now save this as a preset in my user library and record this, and always this would be set up already. Or if I now switch this device off, for example, and want to have a different looper to be controlled, this could work as well. And all the direct MIDI in makes stuff just a little bit cleaner, and you are able to set up things more dynamic and don't trigger everything all the time if you have multiple things mapped up to one button here. Yes, okay, so there is one more thing for the M-Wave for the pedal, because you are able to put in an expression pedal here as well and to send out MIDI CC values. So if you have an external expression pedal, you plug that in here. For example, I have one here, and if I plug that in, I can actually send MIDI control change data here as well and map that to a parameter in Ableton Live. So I just quickly want to show you on the editor software, you are able to control and to set up different MIDI CCs here as well. So at the top here, you got this circle with the pedal sign in here, and to arrows, if you just touch this, you will get to this menu here where you can set up different CC and a different CC number if needed. Maybe if you want to control a certain VST which is hard binded to a certain MIDI CC message, that could make sense, and you are able to set up different CCs in here. Just quickly wanted to mention that at the end. So if you are interested about more infos on the M-Wave Chocolate, I made a video about that, what I think is great about it, and why yeah, it's a really great tool for starting out. I have a few more Max for Live devices for different MIDI foot controllers to be able to set up things a little bit quicker and a little bit more obvious and to your needs, and to be able to store and record presets. Have a look in the links in the video description if you're interested in that. Take care, bye bye.